Now on the night team.
He was trying to break up the fight, and it was the way he got jammed into a locker.
Friends and coworkers detail the injuries, help pay bills, and stand by a local security guard after he was hospitalized after trying to break up a fight at a JCPS high school. Condolences around the Commonwealth and beyond tonight as a small community mourns for the Russell County deputy shot and killed in the line of duty. Plus, crush it.
Not only are they confiscating cars, but when they confiscate cars, they crush them.
Louisville's mayor saying enough is enough when it comes to the recent street takeovers around Louisville. And he plans to consult with state lawmakers about what should happen to the suspects' confiscated cars. It's all next on the WHAS11 night team. A JCPS high school security guard has spent 4 days in the hospital. His friends say he was trying to break up a fight between students in the cafeteria. And good evening, everybody. I'm Connie Leonard. That Doss High School guard, Charlie Nichols, suffered a broken rib and punctured lung. The night team's Alex Dieterer spoke with a close friend of Nichols and joins us now. So, Alex, what are his friends saying tonight?
Well, Connie, his friends say he is the first person to run to help others. And this time, they say it put him in the hospital after trying to break up a fight of high schoolers. Now his community is rallying behind him on his recovery journey.
Hope you get better and always see the passion you showed for the kids and made me drive harder to make an impact in these kids' lives.
A JCPS employee sent to the hospital after what his friends say was just doing his job.
He was trying to break up the fight, and it was the way he got jammed into a locker that broke a rib and then punctured his lung.
Charlie Nichols, shown here with his fiance, is a security guard at Doss High School and a Marine veteran.
It's his natural instinct to get in there and not let anybody get hurt.
His friend and former colleague at Doss, Jill Conover, says Nichols works 3 jobs, is a single dad raising a teenage daughter, and is the caretaker of his father.
He doesn't just do the security role, he does whatever you need him to do. He's that kind of person.
JCPS tells WHAS11 they cannot comment about this particular situation. In a statement sent to us, Doss High School Principal Julie Chancellor said, quote, "Mr. Nichols has been a beloved member of our Dragon family for many years. Students and staff love him, and he always gives 100% to Doss. Our staff energetically wanted to help him out financially, and we are looking forward to his return to our Doss family."
He's always had everybody's back. We need to have his.
Conover started a GoFundMe to help with Nichols' medical bills.
The kids would never intentionally hurt Charlie because they all seem to really like and respect him.
A sentiment that seems evident as Conover scrolls through her phone, reading message after message sent to Nichols by students.
Forever and always left a positive mark on me. You are one of a kind and bring joy to our lives all the time.
Nichols spent 4 days in the hospital. He was released Tuesday.
He said this GoFundMe has given him the opportunity to breathe a little, because he knows now that he can maybe focus on recovering, because he's not in a panic about how am I going to pay this or how am I going to pay that.
Conover says the school needs to see more discipline and consequences for students who get into fights. That way they can keep the kids and teachers safe. We have a link to the GoFundMe for Nichols attached to this story on our website, WHAS11.com. In studio, Alex Dieterer, the WHAS11 night team on your side.
All right, Alex, thank you so much. 7 JCPS students were injured after a bus crash this morning. LMPD said it happened around 9:40 on the way to school. Police say an SUV was driving down Baxter Avenue, turning right onto Barrett Avenue. Investigators believe the bus pulled in front of the SUV, hitting it. The bus was carrying 40 students at the time. 7 students were taken to the hospital for injuries, but they are expected to be okay. Now, new on the night team, Louisville's mayor is looking at ways to strengthen laws surrounding street racing as the police department seizes even more vehicles. In a post on Facebook, LMPD says more street takeovers happened last night and 5 more cars were confiscated. The department says 3 of them were also part of the takeovers that happened on Labor Day weekend. LMPD is seizing vehicles under a metro ordinance, but today, Mayor Craig Greenberg said he's in talks with state lawmakers as well.
One innovative approach that some other states are taking are not only are they confiscating cars, but when they confiscate cars, they crush them. I strongly support legislation that when we seize vehicles that are partaking in this extremely dangerous behavior, that those cars get crushed.
Mayor Greenberg says he will be advocating for that legislation in the upcoming session. A man is accused of stealing copper wire from an LG&E power station, putting part of Louisville briefly in the dark. Middletown police say Daniel Tinney cut through fencing to break into the substation on September 11th. LG&E says the theft caused, quote, catastrophic equipment failure and about $500,000 in damage. In his arrest citation, police say Tinney admitted to breaking into the area and taking copper on multiple occasions to sell at a local scrapyard. He's charged with trespassing and criminal mischief. A somber memorial sits outside the Russell County, Kentucky courthouse tonight, honoring Deputy Josh Phipps, who was killed in the line of duty. Phipps was a 3-year veteran of the small department and before that worked for Louisville Metro Police. Sheriff Derek Polston said Phipps was assisting Kentucky State Police in a search for a suspect in Russell Springs last night. And after locating that man, shots were fired and both the deputy and suspect were hit. Both later died at the hospital. Eric Johnson with Supporting Heroes spent the day with Phipps' family and the sheriff.
We've been together quite a bit last night and today, and he's taking it very hard, as any police leader, a friend would do. And this is a small department. I believe about six deputies. His parents are obviously just very upset. This is not supposed to happen. Parents are not supposed to bury their children.
Phipps was an officer for LMPD in 2021, briefly serving as a 2nd Division patrol officer. Louisville Metro arson investigators have determined the cause of a large fire in Old Louisville yesterday. They say smoking materials in an ashtray on the 2nd floor led to this scene at an apartment complex on South Brook Street. That Louisville fire spokesperson says there were 12 units in the complex, homes to mostly families. The Red Cross is helping those families that were impacted. All right, well, another nice night out there tonight, and the rest of the week looks about the same, Ben.
Yeah, it's going to start heating up a little bit as we finish off summertime. But out there now, nice and mild. Connie, 71 degrees and 75 at the airports right now. We've had just a couple sprinkles flying mainly along and east of I-65, but most areas will be dry for tonight with low temps in the upper 50s and lower 60s. Again, we do have some 90s to finish off summertime, and we'll take a look at the first few days of fall coming up in our weather impact team forecast.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Ben. The ground search for I-75 shooting suspect Joseph Couch is now moving into the towns and roads surrounding the Daniel Boone National Forest. Governor Andy Beshear joined KSP and Laurel County law enforcement for that announcement today. Ian Hardwick and photojournalist Emma Gefter explain how the nature of the search has changed.
So beginning this afternoon, we'll begin transitioning state and local law enforcement agencies from a manhunt to a larger presence in this community and the surrounding communities.
After the search for I-75 shooting suspect Joseph Couch went deeper into the Daniel Boone National Forest, those boots will walk a different path going forward. With about 90% of Laurel County Public School students returning for in-person instruction, this is the sight they're greeted with. The London Police Department posted up outside of the district schools. As of Tuesday, Kentucky State Troopers will be joining the department on patrolling the town of London and the streets of Laurel County.
We're also doing everything we can to provide extra patrol at daycares, hospitals.
While London police handled that, troopers have an even greater focus investigating tips into Couch's whereabouts. Going forward, the forest search continues from the sky with thermal imaging on drones and helicopters. Installed during the ground search, trail cameras now cover the 28,000 acres state troopers scoured. FBI bloodhounds couldn't find Couch in the forest and cadaver dogs failed to find his body. Police still don't know if their suspect is dead or alive.
Commissioner, in those 400 tips that you received, is there some sort of thread in there that you can follow that says, yeah, we need to come out of the forest?
You know, what we've discovered in the forest versus these tips and then where our communities are, that's why we wanted to transition from there and just put more resources in those communities where those tips come in.
Federal help with the search is also moving out of the woods.
The FBI, we are here. Although we're transitioning from the manhunt and those resources, we are moving toward the fugitive investigation.
Without a conclusion to the search, the focus is now on caution and keeping people safe. In London, Kentucky, Ian Hardwick, WHAS11, on your side.
Police say they've received more than 400 tips about Couch, as you heard, but none have panned out yet. There's a $35,000 reward, though, for any information that leads to his arrest. The University of Kentucky is in the process of firing a current professor and the former head of the school's equine testing lab, and he could face criminal charges. In March, UK removed Dr. Scott Stanley as director of the Equine Analytical Chemistry Lab following accusations that he and the lab improperly reported test results on racehorses. Today, the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority, along with the Horse Racing Integrity and Welfare Unit, which oversees testing, announced their investigation discovered at least 2 false negatives and 2 false positives on controlled medications. The 2 false positives resulted in the loss of winnings. The federal oversight agency stated the lab billed them more than $1 million for services, including tests which were never done.
The university has agreed to work with us to reimburse the money. They've taken responsibility and they've acknowledged it.
Federal authorities are now investigating Dr. Stanley. The University of Kentucky State's UK police is also conducting their own criminal investigation due to the possibility that Stanley had business and personal relationships while at the lab, which may have been a conflict of interest.